Hey everybody, this is Dominic DeAngelo of adfreeshows.com. Today's date is January 5th, 2022. No, holy crap, 2023. Jeez, oh man, I gotta get used to that.
You got to get
Crazy
used to
thing.
that.
Gotta get used to that. And I'm here for the first time ever interviewing Mickie James. Mickie, thank you for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Big fan of ad-free shows.
I thank you. Yes, it's a great site, and Conrad does a heck of a job
Yeah, he
running that
does.
guy. So you got Impact Hard to Kill. It's a coming up on January 13th, Friday the 13th. And
Sold out.
sold out, announced
Yeah.
yesterday too. Holy smokes.
Very well. Bully and I are on a kick of who sold it out.
Yeah.
We had this conversation yesterday. And
Oh,
so
I bet.
I told him you're welcome.
Yes.
Because he said,
Bully.
this is where you call me and you say, thanks for the house, Mickie. That's my Bully impression. And I
Wow.
go, you're welcome, Bully.
You're welcome. Just so you know. Okay, this is a good segue then. What makes Bully Ray such a great heel?
Because he's not so I think because he doesn't care about getting cheered. There's not that piece of him that goes like, oh, I still want people to love me because I still want them to tell me I'm great on Twitter and I still want them to buy my merchandise. He doesn't care. He does not care. He would rather, which is a sign of a great heel, honestly. Like, it annoys me when heels don't fully commit because I'm like, you're either heel or babyface. You both can't have merch. You both can't sell merch. You can't be like looking for adulation on the internet. That means you're not dipped. If you're a heel and people are telling you, oh, he's such a great heel, you're not doing your job.
No, people are liking
You're
you.
doing a terrible job at your job.
Yeah.
What they should be saying is that guy's a real asshole. I can't stand him. I can't wait for somebody to punch him in his teeth and shut him up for good. That means you're doing a great job as a heel. So I have to say, Bully, whether it's just by nature or, but he's really good at being an asshole,
Yeah.
and that's the mark. That's the standard of being a great heel.
Hell, he conveys it on Busted Open from time to time. He goes into the fans. Into the fans. I'm like, holy crap, Bully, settle down, man.
But I do respect that of staying true and not budging just because you feel like, oh, I want people to like me. Like, God,
You
that
gotta be
there's a
you.
certain amount of confidence and security that comes with not giving a crap whether people like you or not,
100%. And you know
Yeah.
what? To your point, you're doing your job when you get that going. It's
Yeah.
who. Well, you got so you've had some talent that you faced up. You're going up against Jordynne Grace. I think a lot of the knockouts division is like top tier in women's wrestling, like
Yeah,
as
it
far as
is.
talent crop goes and everything like that. I wanted to kind of get your insight and perspective because like it might have been Tommy that said this, but somebody said this that like you're always learning as a wrestler, like no matter what
Oh.
age you are or anything like that. What have you kind of learned from a lot of the younger knockouts going into your second, or is it your second run here in Impact, or is this?
It is. Well, I guess technically it would be. I mean, the first time I wouldn't call it a run, went the first pay-per-view or first two pay-per-views when I was in that 25 Diva Battle Royal
Right.
as Alexis Lurie. But my first run was when I was first introduced to TNA at the time. And I just came in working wrestling Trinity,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember Trinity at the
Yeah.
time. So I came in wrestling her, and then Raven, which was Raven's idea. Raven found me at Ring of Honor, actually, and asked me to be part of the gathering. So that was my first run. And that's really out of that is where I got signed to WWE developmental, went there. And so then I went from there. That would be my first run. My second run was after I left WWE the first time in 2010, and Hardcore Country was born. And so that was my second run. So this would be my third run. The third run at Impact Wrestling. It's kind of crazy how life works out, and things work out. But I do think that there's a sense of love and loyalty I have to Impact Wrestling because the fact that they've been able to stand the test of time and stick around for 20 plus years. And do it their own way, and had major success and have ridden this wrestling roller coaster of fads and what's cool and what's, all of the things. And I truly believe that it's one of the best wrestling products on television. I really do. I think that the roster is thick, both male and female, of incredibly talented individuals who go out there and kill it every single night. Honestly, like it's amazing. And it's amazing the locker room, the vibe that everybody is on Team Impact, because everybody wants Impact to win and they all want Impact to shine. And they all believe in the product. They believe in the structure of the court between Scott and Gail and Tommy and the people that are kind of, leading the charge from behind the scenes to the people that you see on television. Like, everyone who gets an opportunity deserves an opportunity there. And that's a lot of love in that locker room, because we do realize, I think, that they are the underdogs at the moment. But I also believe that they have some of, the best wrestling on television at the moment. So
I completely agree. Like, and covering it too, like week in and week out, I used to do it for WrestleZone, and holy smokes, like the storytelling consistency throughout, it's just the
yes,
continuity that you're looking for in a lot of wrestling products.
consistency,
Yeah.
yes, and continuity. It's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't grow up a country music fan, but I developed into one as I got older.
After you downloaded all my albums.
That's right.
Well,
you know
my
what?
2 albums and all my singles. I'll say that. Yeah. Okay.
Anytime my cat wakes me up at like 4 a.m, I'm gonna be like, I'm pissed.
I'm pissed.
I'm pissed. I gotta feed you. But I wanted to, and something with country music that I really like a lot, and like I did kind of grow up with like Jerry Reed, and then developed into Johnny Cash and certain things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dolly Parton, I got my mug of Dolly Parton right here too.
Oh my God, the goat of life.
Yes.
Why is she the greatest?
Why?
Why is she the greatest? Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, what did you learn from wrestling about storytelling that you learned from country music, if that question makes sense?
Well, okay, so I grew up a fan of all music.
Mm-hmm.
I love all music. I mean, it was very eclectic in the sense of, like, my mom was very Prince, Madonna, like she was very into pop and dance, and she loves to dance. And my dad is still to this day, James Brown is his all-time favorite, but
Nice.
he loves R&B. Like, he loves Otis Redding. He loves good, like, old soul music. And then my stepdad is the country music fan. And he liked old, like, outlaw country, but he also loved a bit of Jerry Lee Lewis and like anything that he could, man dance to, if you will, but so I grew up with all of this. Then I played the violin for 5 years. So I learned a lot of classical music, but also classical music we competed a lot with horses. So my grandma would play a lot of classical music at the barn to keep the horses calm, but that would also be what would be playing at a lot of these horse show events, because there's a lot of hoity-toities at horse shows. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We did not belong, clearly. Like, my grandma and my mom were working double jobs just so we could be there. And there's like all these top trainers and they're super bougie and all these things. And here we are drinking our lemonade out of our big, tall thermos, but I think that when it came to storytelling, what I found as a writer, as I'd songwrite and I'd write, my writing style really leaned towards country music the most, because of the storytelling. And that's the difference, I think, between that and like a lot of poppy stuff, or rock has some storytelling in it. Old school rap, I think, has some really great storytelling of how you take people on this journey. And wrestling is the same. It's like a roller coaster. You want to take people on a ride and take them with you so they can live every moment with you, so they can feel every moment with you. I mean, there's songs to me that still resonate, and it'll take me back to a place in time. It'll take me back to 17 years old, driving down in my little Berlinetta with the interior roof falling off, and I'm trying to pin it back up. And, it'll take me back to those moments of your first kiss, or, your first date, or your first heartbreak, or any of these things. Like, sometimes that song can take you there. And I feel like wrestling the art of wrestling is to be able to take people on that same type of emotional roller coaster, so they're on the ride with you and they feel those moments with you when you're in jeopardy or when you're in pain or when you're victorious. They want to, cry for you. They want to help you, and they want to cheer for you in those moments of glory. And that's like the reality of why I think I feel like they're so connected. But that's just music in general. But for me, country was it's what I come from. I'm from a small town in Virginia. I say Richmond, Virginia, but it's really Montpelier, Virginia.
Oh,
Nobody
okay.
knows where that is, because if you drive through it and you blink, you will miss it.
You're gone.
They just got a Food Lion a couple years ago. I think they finally, like 2 years ago, finally got a CVS.
Oh,
There's zero traffic lights. It's a
zero.
stop sign. Zero traffic lights. It's a stop sign. Just keep on.
You have me beat. I grew up in a town that had like two.
Yeah. Yeah. For the longest time, it was the Montpelier Food Center. And my sister and I, when I started driving to school, we would stop by there every morning to go get our sausage biscuits on the way to school, because it was, 20 minutes from school. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother. Montpelier Food Center for life, though.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You can't beat those local grocery stores.
Yeah. Trying to sweet talk somebody into buying you some Zimas,
Right? Hey, come on now. Come on. All right. I got a fan question real quick before I let you go. We do the ad-free shows, top guy members. So I fielded some questions here.
Okay.
I think this one's a pretty good one. Brad Stanton asks, why was Deonna Purrazzo the right one to kick out of your finisher? No one has ever had. So what made her stand out for you to do that?
Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that Deonna and I have had a rivalry. She was the longest reigning champion, and she was a very dominant knockouts world champion at the time. I have a lot of respect for Deonna for so many reasons. Not just because of the type of competitor she is and that she brings out the best in me, which is, I feel like that's just a testament to her, and then both of our passion for the sport, and for the industry, and what we feel that knockouts championship deserves. I think that there's a reason why nobody kicked out of my finish, because I was told from day one, I don't believe in kicking out in finishes. I don't believe in bastardizing your finish and just letting anyone kick out of it. And that's the old school training in me, because that's why it meant so much when Deonna actually kicked out of it, because nobody ever had before. And so nobody expected it. But with the story going into it, with how much we had done going into that match, I mean, we tried to kill each other,
right.
Match after match. So it just felt right. It felt right, and it's not something that I ever had done before. And it's maybe not something that I'll do again, because my finish is very important to me. And I feel like the more you diminish how important it is, the more the fans don't buy it or don't take it and as seriously. And pretty much everyone knows that when that Mickie DDT hits,
it's over.
They're not getting back up.
It's done.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
That is how 1 billion served, baby. Mickie DT.
Woo!
With cheese. No cheese. No cheese.
No cheese. I think cheese.
Maybe some days there might be a little bit.
Once in a while.
Every now and then.
Yeah. Well, I think kicking out of having somebody kick out of a finish when it's protected like that, it's almost, I would put that on the level of like winning a title in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think about, and this was just my trainers. It's like first off, your finish should be something that you can do to anyone, regardless of size, regardless of gender, at any time, anywhere. So if you have this super complicated finish that you have to pick and flip and do all these things, you're not going to be able to do it to everyone. So it's a very difficult finish to get over. I'm very blessed with my finish. To be something like that pretty much most everyone can take very well. And I can just hit it out of anywhere on anyone. So but I was told then, like, you can't just let people willy-nilly kick out of your finish, because then it's not a finish anymore. It's just a move.
Just a move.
Right.
Mhm.
And I believe in making every move mean something, because there's a reason as to why you're doing it. I don't like throwing away moves. I don't like wasting moves, because then I go like, well, where's the story? I don't like throwing away moves, and I don't like throwing away the story and storytelling, because I feel like there's an art to what we do out there. And a lot of times we waste moments because we're too busy trying to get to the next thing to and
make it
it's
all seem
apparent, and
seamless
it's
or what
not only
it's
apparent in the match, but it's also apparent when you look out in the audience.
very much so. Very much so. It all ties into storytelling, Mickie. That's it.
I'm a storyteller.
You're a
That's it.
storyteller at
I
heart.
may not be the greatest wrestler in the world, but I love telling stories. And I
Telling stories
love
in local grocery stores.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'll let you go. I know you got a huge tap on things on tap with interviews and everything like that. So I thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you. And one way or another, the last rodeo ends at Hard to
Giddy
Kill.
on up. Giddy on up. Well,
Giddy on up, bitches.
Giddy on up. Let's party down. All right, guys. We'll see you next time here on Ad Free Shows.